one more time. This time for real. Welcome. Hello, it's Dawn here, and I will be reviewing a pretty painful and triggering interview tonight. The mother of Madeline Soto, and this is not a case that I will be following the entire case, but I really felt compelled to go over this interview with you all because no one in my real life cares about this or wants to talk about it for, pretty good reasons. So, okay. So texting me now. Okay. So I'm not distracted enough. So let me just get back on board. So thank you for being with me. Sorry for the delays. I'm only about an hour in and we're going to get going. So I want to thank again, one more time, I think third time is a charm. Thank you so much to Grizzly True Crime for sharing all of these files with content creators to share with our audience. She would love to hear what you think about what your response is to this interview, shall we call it. It's not an interrogation. And as we get into it, we're going to find out what they really want, what the police really want from Jennifer Soto. So put your comments in the chat, or if you're replaying, thank you for replaying. Hello to the replay crew, especially Tennis Girl. It's good to see you too. So thanks for your patience. We're going to get started. Again, this is not a case that I'm going to be following. I like 99% sure think this is the only video on this topic that I'm going to share. And I'm doing a special night just to do it because this has kind of been on my mind for weeks. And I've been wanting to do this and it's not gone away. So I decided to come up and talk to you about it. So let's get started. Again, from Grizzly True Crime, please make sure that you are giving her a like and a subscription and all of that jazz, because she does so much great work for the true crime community. And again, in this case, she put all these files together for us to share. And it's just very generous of her getting these FOIA requests done, organizing it the way she organized. She does a great job. So my apologies for the delay. Let's get started with this. Let me just get back over to the screen. Jennifer is waiting for the police to come in. I fast forwarded a few minutes so we're not just watching her. And let me know if you can hear this okay. Can you hear Jennifer? Can you hear some noise? You should be hearing some background noise, and they will be in soon. I just double checked. It sounds okay.
Told me. My name's Kevin. I work for the Orange County Sheriff's Office. I'm lead Matt, Detective Smallwood from the city. The goal, obviously, Kissimmee Police Department's doing most of this investigation. We're at the Orange County Sheriff's Office. Our people, we have resources out there, obviously doing active. So it's kind of a joint effort. So Detective Smallwood's we're going to read through the timeline and everything else. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we're going to go from there. All right.
You want me to go through the whole timeline?
Yeah, we'll start with Sunday. Take you through Sunday.
Okay. Sunday, guys have tissue?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, grab some. So actual tissues?
That'll work.
I can give you this whole roll.
So Sunday, birthday party. She spent the whole day at my mom's house. We celebrated with the whole family. I was at work. I just started a new job last week or the week before.
Okay. Where's that at?
Walt Disney World at Coronado Springs, front desk concierge.
Okay.
I was finishing up my last day of, no, it wasn't even my last day of training. I was still in the middle of training. Sunday in the middle of training, I couldn't miss to go to her birthday party. So I went to work. I was with my family all day. She had the best day. She was so happy when I got home and I saw her. At my house around 8:30 that night. I wasn't home. She got dropped off alone. About 10 to 15 minutes later, Stefan showed up.
At your house in Kissimmee?
At my house in Kissimmee, he called me. Or he texted me, I don't remember. But he let me know he was there and that she was getting ready for bed. She was doing her routine. So she took her nighttime meds and she got in the shower to get ready for bed.
What meds? What does she take?
She takes hydroxyzine.
Okay. What is it for?
It's for anxiety and for sleep.
Okay.
Now, could she take that by herself, or would he have given that to her?
I think she took it by herself. She got home and she had already taken it.
How do you know that?
Now he's asking, how do you know that she took it by herself? And if you saw any of or listened to any of her other interviews, she said that she always closely monitored Madeline taking her medicine to make sure she took the right thing. So I found this interesting. She also said that, she was somewhat entrusting Stefan with her daughter, but she doesn't know whether or not he helped her with the medication that night. So I just thought that was very odd. And the other thing I thought was odd is she looks like she's more afraid, probably because she's in the police department now, but her other interviews, she didn't start out crying and asking for tissue or anything like that. She sounded pretty together, except for at certain times when she would kind of lose it, and understandably, but it's funny to me, or funny in an odd way, how she was already crying because there was an entire recording of her and the police officer chatting it up on the way to come to the office here. So I just thought it was kind of weird how her demeanor changed from that police car chat to this.
That's what he told me.
That's what he told you. Okay.
He was there when you got home? You got home, they were already at the apartment? Okay.
I don't like her taking her meds without somebody visually watching her, because I don't want her to accidentally grab the wrong pill. She's comfortable enough to grab the pill, but I'm like, no, I need to watch you take them.
Has there ever been an issue with that in the past where she took too many or took the wrong thing? Or just like a thought in your mind?
No, just a thought in my mind, just me being hypervigilant. I want to physically watch her take her meds and watch her grab two, take them. I don't ever want there to be an accident of she took too many, or my biggest fear is that she would take Adderall by accident, her daytime meds.
Got it.
I got home around 10:30. I started getting ready for bed myself. I started eating and taking my meds because I have to take meds.
So something that really struck me about this family is they sure do like take a lot of medication, all of them. And this is not shade, but it's really interesting how her timeline kind of revolves around when they're all taking medications. And I'm not a mom myself, so I'm asking this question really with no judgment. But why would a 13-year-old girl be anxious and need sleep and anxiety medicine? I can understand her ADHD and the Adderall and some of the medications, but I just found it kind of odd. I can't imagine at my age at 13. I know things are different now, but it seems like that's a lot of medication for a 13-year-old that can affect their thinking. Um, and so when the police officer asked, well, how do you know that's what medication she took? Because it sounded like she was saying she took it on her own. She said, well, because that's what he told her. That's what Stephen told her.
When I went to take my meds, I realized, oh my God, I forgot to take my Saturday night's meds, which is why I felt so weird and so abnormal and not myself Sunday while I was at work. Everyone at work noticed I was acting different and not being myself. Like I couldn't smile in front of the guests. I felt this wave of depression that I hadn't felt in years. It was my bipolar symptoms coming up again that I've been medicating myself for all this time. I realized I forgot to take my meds, and I said, you guys, I need a good night's sleep. I need to take my meds. I sent them to sleep upstairs in the guest bedroom so that I could get a good night's sleep. I suggested that we all sleep together in the same bed together, but not the easiest person to sleep with. She rolls around, she punches, she kicks. We have a king size bed and she typically sleeps on one side and she'll end up on my side when we wake up.
Okay.
So I asked her, I'm like, no, please, I need a good night's sleep. If you guys can go upstairs and let me sleep. I had asked Stefan to take her to school in the morning.
We'll go to Sunday. So Sunday you took your meds. What meds, if you don't mind me asking, what meds do you take? And how does it put you to sleep deep? Does it help you fall asleep, or does it help regulate you? What kind of happens when you take the meds?
So they do all of the above. They make me sleepy. They help me stay asleep, and they help me function. So I'm stable all day. They only work well if I've got a good night's sleep and if I've eaten with them the night before when I take them, or the night I take them. The medication is called Geodon. Generic brand is called Ziprazidone.
So she's sharing what kind of medication that she's taking, and they didn't ask her. They didn't ask her about her medication. The other thing that I thought was weird is this was a brand new job for her, and she just said that the people around her were saying, you're not acting like yourself today. Well, how would they know? They didn't know her. This was a brand new job for her. She most likely, I mean, unless I have something wrong about having a new job, these would be people who wouldn't know what her normal behavior was. So, and if this job was so important to her, which you can tell it is throughout all of her interviews, and there's no shade on that either, but why would she have messed up her medicine the day before? Like, that just doesn't sound, I mean, it sounds like she's taking these medications for years, that she's on a program. She knows that they help her, but she starts a new job and doesn't take the right medication the day before. That just sounds like an absolute disaster. She has a way, just like she's doing right now, about turning this whole thing into like her. She was describing her first day of work when he was asking about Maddie.
I took my meds, and then I told them to start getting ready for bed, to start heading upstairs and get ready because it was already almost 11 o'clock. It's past her bedtime. She needs to go to sleep. So I sent them upstairs.
So I sent them upstairs. Did you get that? So I sent them upstairs. Here we go.
He may have come down at one point to pee before bed, and then he went back upstairs. he uses my restroom because the roommates upstairs don't want to share a restroom with a male.
Okay.
Yeah, so he uses my restroom.
They didn't ask. Again, she's volunteering all this information. By the way, we don't need to hear about when he uses the bathroom, okay? But sure.
Sorry, where did I?
You're fine. Sunday night he came downstairs, maybe overnight to use the restroom.
Yeah, and then he went back upstairs and they went to sleep. Or where I think they went to sleep.
Okay.
I went to sleep. I was woken up at some time. For the longest time, I've been saying he woke me up at 8 o'clock in the morning because I assumed he was taking her to school and getting ready for school. But in reality, I don't know what time he woke me up. The sun was out a little bit. It was still a little dark. And I was very sleepy when I got up. I was kind of drunk. But he came in to walk the dog, to put the leash on the dog and walk him.
Was the dog in the room with you?
Yes.
So did he wake you up on purpose, or was it just kind of like the causation of him opening the door and you realizing somebody was there?
Yeah, the causation of him putting the leash on the dog, because the way the dog reacted, he gets very nervous and will urinate if you put the leash on him too directly.
What's with all these details about people peeing and when they pee? First of all, again, extraneous information. Nobody asked. That's a lot of detail about the dog and the leash, and I have a feeling that dog, unfortunately, that leash might play into some things here once this goes to trial, which is why I'm so triggered.
You have to like be nice and talk to him. Yeah, he's he's a nervous dog. Yeah. So I got up to try to help him, and he said, "No, go back to sleep. I'm fine. I got this." And I said, "Are you sure?" He said, "Yeah." So I laid back down and went to sleep. I heard noise in the kitchen, but I'm not sure who it could have been getting ready, but it could have been Stefan, it could have been any of my roommates. I fell asleep again, and I didn't wake up, I think, until 9 o'clock in the morning.
Did you ever leave the bedroom in that time frame?
No.
So he came in, you were kind of awoken up based on him interacting with the dog, but you stayed in bed, you didn't leave the bedroom. So if you woke up at like 9, so you never...
That morning.
Monday morning.
No.
So the last time you would have been Sunday evening?
Sunday.
Okay.
I'm just going to interject here. I forgot to mention it at the outset of the video because of the technical problems. You're going to hear lots of redactions. So if you hear the video cut out, it is not a technical problem. It's actually a redaction. Oftentimes when sensitive or information about a minor is being discussed.
I'm sorry,
You're fine.
I want to see her. Yeah.
Take a minute. Okay? While you take a minute, I was going to ask you earlier, has anybody reached out to you during the time that we've been investigating this? Talk about that or anything else? Negative, positive, neutral?
My best friends have all been in contact with me, just trying to help me. There's setting up Facebook groups, flyers.
No negative interactions with the public or anything? Nobody's reached out with tips or accusations or anything like that?
Not that I've seen. I've been avoiding social media because my family's telling me to not go on.
Would you be okay with our digital people looking at your phone to verify there's no stuff coming into socials, texts, things like that?
That's fine.
Do you have the phone?
Yeah.
What they'll do is they'll plug it in, they'll do a forensic download of it so they have the data. That way they can go through it and say, we did receive things, we didn't receive things, here's the communications in and out, things like that, so we can verify that for you.
That's fine.
You have a password on it?
030288.
030288. Okay.
Is that a birthday?
My birthday.
It's your birthday?
Yeah.
My birthday is tomorrow.
Today's the 1st. This is the worst birthday ever.
Then we can get that going so we can get it back to you before we're out here. We don't keep it from you.
That was okay.
So you said about 9 o'clock on Monday, you wake up.
I wake up. I have a doctor's appointment. I leave sometime between 9:30 and 9:45, and I head over there. It's blood work appointment. The appointment's for 10:15, but they take a while to see me.
Where was your appointment at?
LabCorp. And do you want me to tell you exactly which one?
Sure.
Oh wait, I'm on my phone.
When we get it back, we'll get back to it.
It's, if you need to Google it, it's the LabCorp across the street from the Loop in Kissimmee.
Okay, got it.
Had my appointment. I finished there sometime between 11:15. Then I headed home. When I got home, Stefan was there. I had talked to him a little bit earlier while I was waiting for my blood work appointment, and he let me know, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I left my phone at home by accident. School, everything went great. She got up super early, got up really quick. She slept most of the way in the car. I asked her multiple times if she wanted McDonald's, but she said no. Because that was the plan, was that they were gonna stop at McDonald's that morning and go get breakfast.
Okay.
He said that he had gone to the vape shop and they were closed and they didn't open. So he waited there for a while and left, and then said he was gonna go back later.
I was struck by how much she remembers about what Stefan's alibi was, how comfortable she is just regurgitating all the lie, even though she knows they're lies now, she's still very comfortable saying these things as if they are fact. And other times, which we'll see, and I'm sure you've seen and heard about, where she doesn't seem to remember anything.
When I saw him at the house, everything was normal. We were chatting, we were talking, he was acting normal. He was sitting in my computer chair just messing around on his phone. While we were hanging out, he mentioned something along the lines of, "Oh man, I've been avoiding this phone update for a really long time. I should probably update it now." And I said, "Do it, don't avoid it, just get it over with." And he updates his phone and then tells me, "Oh my god, I don't know what button I just pressed, but I just factory reset my entire phone." And I said, "How the hell does that happen? That gives you options now when you reset your phone?" He goes, "Yeah, apparently I wasn't paying attention and I just pressed the button and it happened." And I said, "Oh, that's unfortunate. That sucks." Later on, he tells me he's going to go back out, and I think this is around
12:30, 1 o'clock.
Still on Monday?
Yes, still
Okay.
Monday. 12:30 in the afternoon, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. He tells me he's gonna go back out. He's gonna stop at a few gaming shops, and then he'll meet me at the house at 2:30 so we can get together. He left. I hung out in the house for a while. Was waiting for 2:30 to roll around. 2:30 rolls around, and I'm already calling Stefan, and he's not picking up his phone. 2:30 comes, I leave. About 10 minutes later, I get a phone call from him going, I just got back home. I left my phone home again. I'm so sorry. How long ago did you leave? And I said, about 10 minutes ago. He goes, I'm so sorry. I missed it. I really wanted to go with you. And I'm just like, it's fine. I figured he wasn't going to make it because when I looked at the time when he left and said he was going to visit 3 shops, I didn't think he had enough time to visit them. He told me while he was gone that he got a flat tire somewhere on 182. The wheel just shredded and fell apart. So he was changing the tire, and it took him a really long time to do it. He said he hurt his thumb while changing the tire, like the frame or something slipped and something pinched his finger, and he ended up having to yank it out. And he said he hurt his finger.
So again, I find it super interesting that she's reciting his alibi verbatim. Remembers all the details about this. Not sure that's what they were asking, but okay.
I want to touch on something real quick. When you were calling him, he eventually told you that he left his phone there. Did you hear the phone at the house?
No. If it was anywhere, it would have been upstairs and I wouldn't have heard it. It would have been in the guest
Do
bedroom.
you typically go upstairs?
Who, me?
Yes.
Only if I'm doing laundry.
So she just like, boom, she has an answer for certain things so quickly. Oh, well, if it was home, I wouldn't have heard it. Interesting. I mean, you might not have heard it if it were up in his room, but didn't you just say he was down in your room, at your desk, in your bedroom? And would you have heard it there? So kind of interesting that she shuts that down. How quickly, and she's going to do this throughout, she just shuts things down really kind of aggressively.
That was all. I was just curious if you had heard the phone when you were trying to call him that day.
I didn't. So he tells me all that. I get off the phone with him. I'm waiting. I wait for about an hour and 10 minutes. 4:04, the bell rings, and I'm waiting. I'm the first in line. And she doesn't come out.
You were in your car?
I was in my car,
Next time.
in the car line, yeah.
Okay.
At this point, it's been a few minutes. She should have been out by now because she's usually one of the first kids out. She knows I'm in the front line. And I'm holding up the line behind me because there's kids getting in the cars behind and they're all waiting. They can't get around me, right? So I start calling her, forgetting that I have her phone on me. I had found her phone earlier that morning. She had left it at home. And I brought it with me because she does this often. She does leave her phone.
Where was the phone at in the house?
It was on top of the dresser in her bedroom.
Downstairs or I never been in your house.
Downstairs.
Okay.
So, just so you know, I have a 4-bedroom townhouse.
Okay.
The living room has a partition in it, a fake wall kind of thing. That's got her bedroom in it. That's got a bed, a dresser, and a desk on it. Does she sleep there? No. She'll hang out there. She'll use her computer and hang out there. That's her hangout spot. But she primarily sleeps with me every night in my bed. That's because I know the roommates wake up super early in the morning. They're going to be in the kitchen. They're going to wake her up if she's sleeping out in the living room. So I don't.
So your bedroom downstairs, her makeshift bedroom downstairs, guest bedroom upstairs.
Yes.
Got it.
Her phone was on her dresser. When I found it, I was like, oh my God, she has my phone again. That's great. I brought it with me to the school because I was just gonna yell at her and then just hand it to her so she could have something to do on our way home.
I just find the fact that she just found her phone and brought it with her to go pick her up. She didn't go into the great detail like she did with all of the stuff about Stefan. She just miraculously found her phone. She didn't say the way she did with these other explanations that were unsolicited. I guess they just want her to talk. So what or what isn't solicited, I guess, is subjective. But she didn't say what, as would have been, this is not her pattern then, but it would have been a pattern if she would have said, well, I went into her room because I was, picking up, cleaning, doing laundry, whatever, looking for something, whatever. But she didn't say that. She just has her phone all of a sudden with no explanation. And we know she's prone to explaining certain things and giving a lot of detail about certain things.
On our way home. 4:10 rolls around and she's still not out, or 4:09. And then at this point, I'm feeling the pressure from the cars behind me. I'm like, okay, they're all full. They're all waiting for me to leave and she's not here yet. So I take off and I'm thinking, maybe I missed her. Maybe I forgot to tell her I was picking her up from school today because I don't know if she knew that I wasn't working. I don't know if she knew if I was off. So I asked, I don't know if I told her that I was going to get her. So I left thinking maybe she walked, that's pretty close to school. If I can't pick her up at school, that's where I tell her to be. I drove the path she would have walked. I didn't see her. I got to the office. And she goes, no, it's a little too early. And I said, okay, let me go drive back down and wait along the path she would walk and just wait. And I parked and I waited. I waited. I'm not sure how long I waited. Maybe somewhere between 5 to 10 minutes. She still wasn't there, and I looked at the time, and I'm like, okay, she should be back at my mom's office by now. Maybe she took a different path, and I didn't see. So I went, no, she's still not here. And I'm like, that's really strange. So I call. I don't know if I text or I call. I think I text her, and I asked, hey, or I called. No, I called her. I asked, and she said, no, she didn't make it to first or second period. And I said, what do you mean? She was dropped off close to the school. She should have been in school. She goes, no, she didn't make it to first, second period. I said, please check with the rest of your friends, see if she made it to any of her other periods. At some point in this, I emailed one of her teachers asking, actually emailed a few of her teachers and 2 of them responded. One of them said, no, she did not make it to class, and I checked her attendance for the rest of the day. She wasn't in school at all. Like, he sent me a screenshot of like her attendance and it said 0, 0, 0.
You still have that on the phone?
Yes.
Okay.
If you need to know what app, I'll tell you what app. It's a special school app.
Got it.
He said she was missing all day. And at this point, I start to panic and freak out because that can't be the case. She was dropped off. I had to go check her attendance at school.
So the one thing I noticed here is how she described this. She's talking about speaking to the school about whether Madeline was in class or not. And he said she was missing all day. So now, of course, this is a couple days later when she realizes she is missing. But I doubt if that's what the teacher actually said. He would have said she didn't come to her classes. She didn't come to, or he may have said she missed all of her classes throughout the day. But to say she was missing all day, I thought was kind of interesting and telling way of describing what he actually said to her.
But the office had closed already. The lights were off. I could see a student sitting in there in the darkness, but I couldn't see any of the administrators or anybody in the office. Lights were off, everything was closed. They wouldn't allow me in. I think at this point the teacher had responded to me and told me she didn't make it to school at all. I start having like a freak out panic attack
Are you still just you at this point? Is it you and Stefan?
It's me and my sister, and I want to say one of them is Catherine. I start panicking, and I think at this point I call Stefan and I tell him, hey, because she didn't make it. She's absent today. There's no attendance of her at all today. I'm like, right now. And he said, okay, I'll be there. And he came to the office. And there for like 3 hours, I think. Eventually I contact one of my friends whose husband works, or ex-husband works for OCP, or for you guys.
Orange County Sheriff's Office?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I messaged him and I talked to him and I asked him what I should be doing because you guys aren't responding quick enough.
Would you know his name? Where he works?
Yes. Nick Mann.
Okay.
Or Mahon. Not
Do you
sure.
know what he does here?
I think he works for SWAT.
Okay.
Sure.
Figure it out.
Yeah.
He tell you to wait?
I can't remember anymore. I think he let us know that there were other kids missing in the area, which is why you guys weren't responding quick enough. I think an 8 and a 9-year-old had gone missing around the same time too. In a playground, they didn't tell their mom they were going to the playground or something like that. So all the cops were over there on that side of Hunters Creek. My sister's boyfriend, ex-boyfriend, whatever he is, thought it would be a good idea to go to the park and talk to a cop there and see if he could bring a cop back, and that's what he did.
Okay.
And then at that point, that's when the cops started asking us questions, taking a report. Interviewing me, they interviewed Stefan. They asked Stefan to take them back to the location where he dropped them off, and he showed them wherever he dropped her off. They were looking for cameras along the path, and I don't think they found any cameras along the way to see if there were any video recordings. I think.
Did Stefan go with them in their patrol cars, or did he drive himself and they followed? How did that work?
I think he went with them in the patrol car. Then they came back. And then that's it. Everything was done. The cops were done. We were done.
What time? You remember what time that was on Monday?
It was after dark. We say 8 o'clock.
What did you guys go do after that?
We were in separate cars, me and Stefan.
Okay.
I ugly cried on the way home. I shouldn't have been driving. But I ugly cried on the way home, and I went straight home. And then the first thing I did was call Fox 35 News to see if we can, air some missing children information out there.
When you say ugly cry, just overly emotional tears, makeup running, or is there what is your meaning of ugly crying?
Sobbing where I couldn't see the road, and I shouldn't have been driving, I was swerving.
Makes sense.
It's interesting how she tells them that she ugly cried, and they asked her what that meant, and she just described it. It's interesting that she volunteered that, because we all saw the interview that she's talking about here, that she went home, she ugly cried, and then she went home and called Fox to set up an interview with hopefully to get information about missing children, but we know how that interview went.
Fox 35 come out to your house, or what was their response?
They responded the following day. I think we did a Zoom video interview.
Did Stefan follow you home?
I don't know if he followed me, but he drove home. Yeah.
I mean, was it within a reasonable time when you got there? Like,
Yes. Drove home. We waited there. We didn't know what to do. I stayed up late. I think I called Fox 35. What else did I do? I think I had to eventually eat and take my medication.
Here we go
He
again.
told me he was going to go out cruising that night to go look for her. And I said, I even questioned that. I asked him, are you sure it's a good idea? You should probably sit tight. Let's just wait to see if she comes home.
I'm baffled by how she has to, she shows what's in the forefront of her mind. It's her being comfortable. It's her eating. It's her taking her medication, and obviously her getting good sleep. She just did it again. I had to eat. She says she's ugly crying. I mean, I don't know if I'd be able to eat. I have a hard time eating knowing about the facts of this case, and I'm not even close to it. She's just like, I'm going to go home and eat, I guess. I don't know. I know everyone reacts differently, but I find her to be so self-obsessed about her own comfort. I think it's great that she is in some ways, but to the detriment maybe of her daughters. That's the impression I'm getting. It's all about Jen. I could be wrong. Let me know what you think.
And he said he was going to take a drive out. I had completely forgotten about him wanting to take the drive, or that he actually did it. And it wasn't confirmed to me until the following day, where agents came to the house and we sat in the car for a good amount of time. And I noticed the chair was adjusted. And I said, did you drive my car? And he said, yeah, remember I said I was going out last night? That's right, you did say that.
Can you tell you where you looked?
I think he said up and down 192, and I said, why there? And he's like, I don't know, I'm just looking. I was just trying to look anywhere. And I'm just like, okay.
I mean, this is odd to me. This is so odd. I pick up on the weird. I mean, maybe I'm odd. We all know I'm odd too. But so the dude who she, at this time in the retelling, she at that time didn't suspect he had anything to do with this. But she's saying, why there? Why would you look there? Why not? If you have a missing kid, wouldn't you just look everywhere? So I find that's kind of interesting that and you're going to see in the interview that she poo-poos all these ideas, but she doesn't come up with any of her own. And so isn't the goal to find the missing child at this point who she thinks is still missing and alive?
Did you say if you found anything or talked to anybody?
Thank
or
you.
Just roamed?
Yeah, right.
When you were getting ready for bed, you were tired, emotional. Were you falling asleep when he left, or were you already asleep when he left?
I was already asleep when he left.
Okay. Did you sleep downstairs? Yeah. In your bedroom?
So she's already asleep. Like, I'm going to come home. Oh, I ugly cried. I want you to all know that I ugly cried and I swerved all over the road because I was sobbing so much. But I got something to eat and I got a good night's sleep, even though my daughter's missing. And I asked him, why would you go look there? I mean, this woman just seems so, I don't know, unmotherly. Is it me? Maybe I'm wrong.
When you woke up, was he already awake? Or was he still sleeping?
He was asleep in his bedroom upstairs.
The guest bedroom?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you take your medication that night?
Okay, how would she know if he was asleep upstairs if she never goes upstairs except for to do laundry? And maybe his phone is up there, but I never go up there except for to do laundry. But she knew that. This is what I'm talking about, how she just, boom, answers some questions with great confidence. And nobody asks, well, how would you know that? I mean, maybe they will ask her later, but it's so telling, in my opinion.
I did.
What did you guys do Tuesday? Or just you? You guys, if you're not together, you're not together. What's the timeline on Tuesday?
Tuesday, he slept. I woke up early and started making phone calls to like the National Hotline for Missing and Exploited Children. I called the number that the sheriff's office had given me to see if they had any information, and they let me know that she was like the what did she say she was? I don't remember what she said her position was, but she had just gotten into the office and was just starting to work on it, so she didn't have anything new for me.
Sure.
Her name was Bonnie Mitchell. I remember that.
Remembered that.
She asked me to send her some photos. The National Exploited Children's Hotline place asked me for photos as well. I think at this point, I had asked my friends and family to start contacting news outlets to try to get as much attention on this as possible. I had a lot of phone calls coming in, and I was picking all of them up, hoping that any of them could help me. But it ended up being news reporters or people who had seen my phone on my phone number on a flyer and was trying to give me suggestions. Somebody letting me know that they took flyers all the way to Orlando International Airport and posted them all over the place in case she was being trafficked. They suggested that I go to Amtrak and Greyhound. I had my sister making all these runs for me. I didn't leave the house to do any of this.
Stefan's still asleep.
Yeah. Eventually, reporters come to the house and do an interview. And at this point, Stefan was awake.
So she knows when he's awake and she knows when he's sleeping. That sounds like a Christmas song, whatever. But how does she know if he's upstairs on the second or third floor, like 2 floors above her? This is interesting. She claims he went upstairs. And why? Why? You would think she'd want comfort. She didn't suspect him as being the culprit, the perpetrator. So this is just really odd. And how much they're sleeping. Like this dude is sleeping, she's sleeping. It's all about the sleep. I've never heard sleep mentioned so many times in a murder case, ever.
I did an interview with them, and then Stefan was crying in the background, and I said, Stefan, do you want to do the interview? You can if you want. And he sat in front of the camera and did an interview where he cried.
Do you know which news outlet that was with? I know there's a video on Fox 35
With him sitting
to be on like a webcam.
Yeah, that was Zoom. He was sitting in the background for me.
Okay.
I know
but
that
you
one.
had in-person interviews with reporters?
Yes. I want to say it was Channel 9.
Okay.
Yeah, Channel 9.
And he spoke to them?
Yes.
Okay.
And he ugly cried in front of the camera too, so he was fucking fake sob crying.
Are you saying that now, or do you?
I'm saying that now. I didn't
Okay.
think that at the time. At the time, I thought he was truly heartbroken and not that he had done all this shit to her. Like, I look back at shit now, I'm just like, he was fucking lying. He was fucking faking. What else has he been lying to me about? I know he's like a master liar and manipulator because he's done it to his parents, and he's told me and shown me the lies he's done to his parents. But I don't know why I never thought, not me.
The lies are about money, they're about where he's at, what he's doing, what's he
Yeah, all that.
to his parents.
Yeah, he's stolen money from his parents. They used to have a few $1,000s hidden in like a closet for emergency fund kind of thing. And during COVID, he stole, like, he wanted RC cars. See, if he wants something, he's gonna get it.
Okay. So she knows all of this about this dude. And she lets this guy in her life, not only her life, but in her daughter's life, to act like a father or a live-in babysitter. And she knows that he steals, and that even though they don't have money, they buy, like, what is this, baseball cards? I don't even know what that is. These people are adults. What are they doing buying baseball cards? I mean, it's just a whole world that doesn't make sense to me. But she knew what kind of person he was, even if she wasn't aware of the sexual proclivities that he had. She was aware of his morals, that he was stealing from his own parents, and that he was bad with money, and lets this person in her daughter's life right there. And it wasn't, she's like, oh, he was lying to me. I didn't think he would lie to me. What about your daughter?
No matter what. So he wanted RC vehicles, the remote control cars, fancy ones. They were a few $100s. And I'm poor. I know I can't afford it. And he's showing up at home with these things. And I asked him, where are you getting the money from? Because we don't have this money. He goes, oh, my dad. And I said, your dad gave you money? He goes, no, I took some from his closet. And I was like they have an emergency stash? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, he's going to notice money's missing. And he's like, no, he won't. It's so much money in there, he won't notice at all. I've confirmed with Chris later on that he did notice money, but he never asked his son. But I let him know, yeah, he was robbing you and just buying himself toys. He's also lied. Most recently, he lied to his parents about where he would be. He told them he would be.
So she tells his parents he was robbing you, which is really kind of a horrible thing for a parent to have to hear, right? Even if they knew and they overlooked it. Like it's their fault. Like now she's blaming his parents, and she does get into that in other interviews too, where it's like the parents' fault and they're just like subhuman people. What you let this in your life is the question. You know, he might have been doing that. He might have been bad with money. He might have been stealing from his parents. What's your excuse? And with a daughter, especially, exposing her to that.
At his friend's house playing video or board games or something like that, but in reality, he came all the way to Kissimmee to hang out with us.
Okay.
Oh, it makes me mad.
But you guys were together Wednesday? After all the interviews, did he stay Wednesday? Would you? I know
Yes.
we had some detectives go meet you guys Wednesday, I believe it was.
Yeah.
Were you guys in the house together until the detectives came?
Yes.
What kind of happened after the detectives came?
See, I feel like everything starts to get blurry.
Oh, I get it. Trust me. We've been in this office for like 3 days straight.
Yeah, so I just don't remember what day I had conversation with you guys.
Tuesday night, Orange County detectives came out there because I ended up coming out Tuesday night.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember seeing me or not that night.
Okay.
That was the first night we were at the apartment into the nighttime.
Yeah, is that when you guys shut down the house for forensics?
Yes.
Okay.
Tell
So
us about that.
okay. So earlier that day, I think Detective Hunt came, or somebody came, and asked Stefan for his cell phone. If he would willingly give it up so that they can look at it, or if they would need a warrant. And I remember him saying, should I have asked a warrant? Should I have? And I'm like, no, you got nothing to hide. Give him your fucking phone. And I think we hung out in the house for a little bit, and then when you guys came in the evening, and you guys told us to wait outside and we waited in my car, he started getting very anxious and very panicky, going, I want my phone back. I want my phone back. And I said, listen, at this point, it's their phone. It's theirs for fucking ever. I don't give a shit. We will buy you a new phone. It doesn't matter anymore. Whatever they need, they need. Like, let them look at it. And he's like, I just want my phone back. And I'm just like, are you trying to make yourself more suspicious? Because like, if you were to go demand your phone back right now, that would look suspicious as fuck. Like, what are you doing?
Boom. This killed me. This right here. She's advising him how not to look more suspicious. This was Tuesday. She went missing, what was it, Friday? Come on. And she was like pretty aggressive about it. She was very like, using the F word and throwing the F bomb around and acting all tough with him. She didn't want him to look more suspicious. Hello? Is anyone in there? Unbelievable.
I'm thinking he's just getting impatient because he's bored and wants to play on his phone. And at one point, he takes my phone to start playing with it. I give it up. And I said, here, play on my phone. Have fun. Because...
What is he, 5, 10? Come on.
I think from my phone, he was trying to log into his emails, but he couldn't. Because you need like 2-factor authentication from your own phone.
Okay, wait a minute. She's saying, he just wanted to play with the phone and play games because he's just a little child. Okay. But now she's saying, no, he was actually trying to log into her emails. But here again, we're just hearing about this now. Why didn't she think that was something to report at the time? Obviously they knew it, but hey.
And I'm just like, what are you trying to look at? And he's like, oh, my shipments, my packages. He's addicted to buying shit. That's another thing. Me and his dad couldn't figure out where Stefan was getting money from to buy stuff since he's been unemployed the last 2 months, but he's constantly buying himself packages, buying himself things off of Amazon, buying himself things off the line.
Is this stuff you can confirm, or you think he's doing this?
What?
Buying packages.
I can confirm because I am linked to his Amazon account,
okay.
And his parents can confirm whatever UPS packages or whatever he's getting at home. But I'm linked to the Amazon account. If you guys have my phone, you'll see whatever shipment. I think most recently I did like birthday party. If you see birthday party stuff, that was me. But everything else, him. He's constantly buying stuff and he doesn't have money. He keeps saying he's got money in his savings, but me and his dad called bullshit because he hasn't had, when he lived with us, he was struggling. His dad was helping him pay his bills.
So this whole part in here, I get the impression that this is a chick who is complaining about her boyfriend to anyone who will listen. Like if she had girlfriends, she would be complaining to them about this. This is so odd while her child is missing. And she at this point knows how serious it is with her child and Stefan because she's seen some of those images that he had on his phone. So she's still whining about how bad of a boyfriend he is to these guys. Like they don't know it. This is so crazy. She's still stuck in that thought process rather than what's going on with her child.
Paying his rent, paying his gas, paying his insurance. Stefan was helping us, supporting us by buying food and all that stuff. But I don't know what he did with the rest of his money. And I don't know where he's getting money from now.
We do. We know. Open your eyes, lady.
You were telling us that he was trying to log into
his emails. So he's trying to log into his emails on his phone. And I said, 2-factor authentication, you can't do anything. You're just going to have to wait till you get your phone back.
She lost her train of thought because
we waited in the car. I think at this point, when I noticed that forensics was locking down the house and you guys said we couldn't come back, I told him to call his dad. Because I had a feeling y'all knew something and it was going to come down on him. And I'm just like, they're focusing on the wrong person. They have the wrong person. In my head, I'm convinced you guys are that you had the wrong person. I wanted to think that he was good.
She's saying she wants to think that he's good, but she just spilled out all this evidence that, apart from what happened with her daughter, that he wasn't good. So that seems a little bit of a I'm not guilty statement there.
Before we get ahead of that, what is the conversation like between you two when you're in the car? Because y'all were in there for a good while we were trying to figure things out at your apartment complex or your condo. What's the conversation like inside that car?
I'm trying to think back to what exactly we were talking about.
Boom, nothing. She got nothing there when it's something important.
I know I remember late in the eve, like when you guys let us know we couldn't come back, and I called his dad, or we called his dad. I started saying to him, like, I think they're focusing in on you. Like, we need to call your dad, and I think we need to get you a lawyer. I feel like they're focusing on the wrong person, and he kept saying the same thing. He kept repeating what I was repeating, that they're focusing on the wrong person.
So she's not saying that's what they were talking about in the car, but obviously that's what they were talking about in the car because she brought it up and she was saying, oh, this was later when you told us we couldn't go home. But she got caught on this one. She's clearly not telling the truth, in my opinion, on this. And
They're wasting time there.
How did he feel when you said he needs a lawyer?
He didn't believe me. Like, when I told him, like, don't you see forensics is closing down the house? They fucking know something, or there's something, like, they know something. Something's happening. They wouldn't be locking down the house this way if they didn't have suspicions of something. But I wasn't thinking, I don't know why I wasn't thinking him. Like, I was just like, no, they've got the wrong guy. He just kept saying that they have the wrong guy, that they're focusing on the wrong person, and that we're wasting time. And we call his dad. We tell his dad to come down here, and his dad did come down here and met us at a hotel. That was another thing. I don't have that much money. I live off of disability. I couldn't afford to put us up on a hotel. Like, when you guys said that we couldn't return, I was like, I didn't know where to go. I was trying to think if any family member would have a spare room or anything like that, and not that could take the three of us. When I say three of us, I mean him and the dog.
Yeah, you definitely don't mean your daughter because you know she's dead. When I say the three of us, yeah, we know what you mean. And how many times has she mentioned calling the dad? Like, and how many times did you notice, not just in this interview, but other ones, about her mentioning how she just lives on her disability check? She's trying to get sympathy by doing that, in my opinion.
And I know at my mom's house, we wouldn't have been welcome. My mom does not like Stefan. She's never liked Stefan.
Oh.
So I knew that our only option was to go to a hotel, but I couldn't afford it. So we called Chris, and Chris.
So her mom doesn't like Stefan, and they wouldn't have welcomed them into their home because they needed a place to sleep while forensics was working on the house. So in other words, her mom probably did suspect Stefan all along, and she wasn't listening. She was defending him.
Just met us at a hotel by Disney,
Okay.
off of Western Way, and that's where we went. We got there pretty late.
They didn't ask that. They didn't ask what hotel you went. Like, she is not answering the questions at all. Why are we even talking about this stuff?
We checked in. I used the restroom
Who
and I
cares?
was getting ready for bed,
Oh my God.
or getting like laying down in bed probably around 3:30, 3:45 in the morning,
Oh,
and I fell asleep.
I can't believe how patient they are with her.
Stefan was already asleep at this point.
Did you go straight to sleep when you got in, or just kind of drifted off as you were falling asleep? Like you went to the bathroom and he goes straight to bed?
He was already in bed before I went to the bathroom.
Okay.
I was on my phone for a little bit. He was laying in bed snoozing. I went to use the restroom. I was in the restroom for quite a while because I had like a terrible cell.
Okay, okay, we don't need to hear this.
When I came back out, he was asleep. At least I thought he was asleep. But
His dad stayed with you guys?
not in the hotel room. He stayed in a different room on the same floor.
Okay.
The following morning, I wake up, I think around 9 o'clock in the morning, and Stefan's not there.
So she got another like 5 hours of sleep, woke up at 9, rose out of bed. Wow.
And I remember thinking, he left again without his phone and didn't tell anyone where he was going. That's suspicious as fuck again. Why is he trying to?
But we took his phone, so he got a new phone?
He didn't get the new phone until later that day, where his dad woke up, came to our hotel room, and then handed him a phone.
Okay.
And said, here, have this phone in the meantime until you get your old phone back.
So all this business about how this is suspicious and her throwing around the F word and trying to sound tough, to me comes off as somebody who's trying to look like she's on the right side of things after not being on the right side of things for so long. It's a little bit of overcompensation, in my opinion. Let me know what you think.
So you're just saying he's out and about with no phone?
Yeah, he's out and about with no phone, so there's no way for us to contact him. There's no way for us to. I didn't know if he even knew how to get back to the hotel, because I drove that night. He's a little oblivious to when it comes to directions. So I'm just like, he didn't even figure out how to get here. But he rolled in around 11:15. Rolled in with a cup of Wawa and said, oh, I'm so sorry, I was just driving around. I grabbed some Wawa on 182 and got lost. I didn't know how to get back to the hotel, but I'm here now. And I'm just like, detectives are about to show up. What the fuck would have happened if they showed up and you weren't here? Like, you would have been a fugitive. Like, what are you doing?
A fugitive?
And he was just apologetic about not telling anyone where he went.
But you know, I mean, he had a Wawa cup and he said he was up at 192.
Yeah, but in reality, I know that he truly took my car in the middle of the night to Northport, Florida, and was down there for an hour and came back. I didn't suspect that at all.
Okay.
I literally thought, I'm like, oh, this man, we were right next to like a Target. So I'm thinking, oh, he's probably like stress shopping, just looking at stuff. He likes to browse. I was like, maybe he's in there somewhere. But I didn't have a car. I couldn't go out looking, right? And also, detectives were coming, so I didn't want to leave. Detectives eventually show up. Actually, we were in the hotel room for a while. He went back to sleep and slept. I took a little snooze for a little bit that morning, and then I got up, and then I went downstairs to the lobby, and I saw Chris. And Chris asked if I wanted some lunch, so we went to the hotel bar and ate.
Again, all about the snooze and the eating. We had lunch. I got more sleep. All about her comfort, her own personal comfort with all this going on around her. It's either about her comfort or how all of a sudden, after defending this guy, she knew he was suspicious, but she defended him and actually hid a lot of evidence and was untruthful, in my opinion, in several interviews.
Ate some lunch. We brought up some lunch back for Stefan. Told him to eat a little bit. When he woke up, he took like 2 bites.
Who cares? Who cares how much he ate? Nobody cares. Why? God, these guys are great.
Then
Let her
detective showed
talk.
up. We went downstairs.
Just let her
They
talk.
let us know that there was a press conference happening, which we already had an idea was going to happen. And they told us they would give us a ride and escort us to the conference here, and that you guys would let us in the back way so that media wouldn't see us. But reality.
Okay, so we're almost an hour into this. She's blabbing away. Her daughter is missing. Does this look like somebody right now who cares about her missing daughter? She's just blabbing away with all these extraneous details. Not one thing about what are we doing to find my daughter? What can I do? How can I help? We're already 53 minutes into this.
Reality, now I know.
Makes
That
me
was just
mad.
an interview, guys, us. But yeah, then we showed up here and got separated. Haven't heard from him since. Haven't spoken to him since. Have no interest in speaking to him at all.
Oh, really? Good for you. Congratulations. Should we congratulate her? Oh, I'm getting mad. It's time to wrap this
Then
up.
we got interviewed.
What have you done since? Like, where did you go back to the hotel? Did you stay somewhere else?
No. So after the interview and all that stuff, Chris took me to my sister's house. I've been at my sister's house ever since.
Cool.
Yesterday I went out for a little bit to go to Target to try to take my mind off of things.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
Go get
Okay,
myself-
I've got to pause here. I had a feeling she was going to say something like that. Now she's stress shopping at Target. Okay, we're going to pause here. This is a 3-hour video. I can't handle it. I'm starting to really get upset. And it only gets worse. It gets way worse than this. I forgot about this beginning part. I was thinking this was more like a 1 hour. But here we go. The meaty part will be next time I come live with this. Thank you for joining me for this. I don't know what to call it. Stress fest, because now I'm stressed about this woman. We'll mark the time here at 54:24. Copy it. And we'll see you again next week. Thank you for joining me. I am going to go have another adult bev, I think. Why is this woman not arrested? Because she's going to be testifying, I guess, against Stefan in his trial. She has Wendy-style immunity. We know what that is. It's Florida. If someone is compelled to testify, they get use and derivative use immunity if they ask for it, and no doubt she has asked for it. She's had an attorney protecting her rights. So who knows if she would be charged with anything and what she would be charged with. I'd love to know what you think she could be charged with. Let's say she didn't know this exact thing was happening, this exact incident. Maybe she might have known some other things were going on, or she was clearly suspicious. And we'll know this from her own words in other interviews and coming up in this interview. So what do you think she should be charged with? And with that, I'm going to just call it a night. Thank you again for joining, and also to Grizzly True Crime for sharing this video and getting the FOIA requests and all of those good things. So let her know what you think as well about at least the first hour, almost hour of this trial. Okay. And again, thank you for joining me. Bye for now.